I am giddy about my new start. I was giddy about my new finish until I started the new start. And I have done more stitching in the past few days, let alone couple of weeks, than I did in the previous month. Hi Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I started something, and this wasn't even something I really meant to start. It's an Emma Congdon pattern. It's available on her Etsy shop. It's also in the Cross Stitcher magazine from one of the 2024 issues. That's what I am stitching it for. And I fell in love with it when I first saw it. Went, oh, I could stitch that. But was kind of on the fence about it. And then last week, that little thing in my brain that goes, you need to stitch that and you need to stitch it now, engaged. And I started stitching, and oh my gosh, I have wanted to do an Emma Congdon pattern for ages. I have a whole list of them I want to start. This was not on that list. I am having so much fun with this. The lettering went amazingly fast. I got all of the lettering done in, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 days. And then I realized I'm going to finish all the lettering and I'm going to be left with the reindeer and Santa's sleigh and the rest of it. And I'm going to bog down at that point. So I stitched the reindeer. And today I have been working on the trees, and there are a couple little houses down here. So I'm working on the more complicated bits, saving the simple lettering for later. I've got birds outside my window. And I am just having all kinds of fun with this. I thought this was a big project that was going to take a long time, but compared to everything else I have been stitching, this is so fast. One of the other things I love about this is everything I am using I had on hand. The fabric, if you remember ages ago, I was thrifting and found the Monopoly cross stitch pattern with 2 whips in the bag. I cut out the size I needed from one of those Monopoly boards. And I'm still undecided whether I'm going to pick all of, well, at this point I'm going to have to pick all of this out because I'm definitely not finishing it. I gave myself an extra, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 inches on each side. And once I started gridding, it felt like that was way too much fabric. I'm stingy with my fabric. But when I actually put it on the Q-snaps, it means I am not fighting the edge or the corners. And I really, when I have big pieces of cheap fabric, I think I need to do that. I gave myself on the fabric I cut for a couple of other large projects I'm planning to start, I left 4 inches around the sides because I'm going to spend a lot of time on those corners and those edges, and not fighting my Q-snaps would make life so much easier. All of the thread in this came from thread stash that was not earmarked for other projects. That is thrift store finds, stuff I bought when it was cheap when Joann's was closing. I don't know where all of this floss originally came into my house, but I did not have to go buy floss for this. Why I had 2 skeins of 3801, I don't know. It's possible that some of this was intended for other projects and I'll have to rebuy it for those later, and I'm fine with that. I had all but 2 of the colors I need. And I have not completely dug through everything yet to see if I can find those colors here or not. It turns out that, I think it's 3865, is only on the reindeer's harnesses, so I'm going to need very, very little of it, which means I can steal it from another project. I haven't looked at 807 yet to see what that one is. Messiest floss organizer ever. I don't know what I did. Probably pulling floss too quickly because I can't stop stitching on this. And I've also stitched a little bit on Dragon Eye. I stitched a lot on Dragon Eye before I started on the Santa Claus one. I'm getting there. I just have to finish out this circle and then do 2 more sides of, I don't know what you would call that. Is that an eyelid, eye socket, whatever it is? I like this one. It is all green. It is a lot of half stitches, a lot of blended colors, and I wouldn't say it's hard. Whether or not it is tedious depends on my mood on that particular day. Honestly, all I want to stitch right now is Santa Claus, and I'm fine with that. If I just want to spend all of my time stitching that Emma Congdon until it's done, the other projects will be waiting there when I'm finished. If you have seen my other video, you will know the delightful news that I finished Furry Friends. I did it. I did not run out of floss in any of the colors. I love it. It is gorgeous, but after a couple hundred hours of staring at it, I'm glad to see this one finished. I am especially glad to see that desktop finished because, oh my gosh, there was so much desktop. I've been trying to consolidate my errands even more than I already do, which means there are only so many hours in the day, especially only so many hours in the day when the stores don't open till 10 a.m. I've been thrifting less. Honestly, there has been less in the stores. We just lost another one of our favorite thrift stores, which I'm really bummed about. Last week, we weren't going to thrift, but we got through the other errands quicker than I expected, and my son wanted to stop at St. Vinny's. He had a hunch, so we stopped, we looked. There wasn't really anything phenomenal, but he found a cookbook for me. This is Household Searchlight Recipe Book, and I don't think that gorgeous embossed cover is gonna show up as well in the picture as it does in real life. This is from 1934. It is exactly the sort of thing I'm looking for. The whole drive home, he was reading me recipes. Then another of my sons was apparently reading it last night, and questions that they don't specify whether the head cheese should be refrigerated or not as it is sitting for several days. I'm never going to make head cheese. This is information I don't need to know. But how standard were refrigerators in 1934? I was flipping through it this morning, and oh, those sandwich recipes are beyond terrifying. I don't want a sandwich that layers tongue and sliced chicken. And there was another one in here that just absolutely boggled the mind. I can't remember what it was. Things you would not put in a sandwich together. These old recipe books are a lot of fun, and we do cook the recipes that don't sound like they would kill us. One of the great things about this one is it has recipes written in the additional recipe section in the back. And one of them, my son said, was actually dated 1950. So there are several generations of handwriting here. What is most interesting here is that the cursive styles are so different. I have seen this in action with recipes written by my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. And I can read all of them. I can read two of the handwriting samples in this. There is one that absolutely boggles my mind. How much of that is the cursive style and how much is her bad handwriting? That's possibly up for debate. But when we talk about whether kids today can read cursive or not, we're talking about at least 5 different styles of cursive that I have encountered in my own family tree, let alone whatever is going on here. Some of it is just baffling. I'll put a picture at the end of the video if you want to test it for yourself. I'm old enough that I learned cursive in school. I can usually figure it out. These are a little bit beyond me. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I'm going to go downstairs and see if I can stitch the little cottage beside those trees before it's time to go ahead and start dinner.